Thank you for joining me on my channel, Handmade by Wendy. I'm gonna do a tutorial on making a bloom. First time a spoken tutorial. I mixed up some resin and I let it stand for a while till temperature of what's new, 32.7 degrees Celsius. A great temperature to start bloom. Needs to be around 32-35 degrees Celsius. I will now pour a little bit out in a smaller cup. That will be for my white. And then I can pour the rest in the molds. The molds I already have prepared with a thin layer of black in the rim. It's a rim that is standing up, so I want to have it flat for the flower. Let's see, a little bit more probably. Set that aside. Now I will pour the rest out in the mold. For the flower or the bloom, you only need a small thin layer. Don't need too much. I want to try to create rows, 3 roses. Okay, leftover I can use for something else. With my silicone tool, I go around the sides to get the bubbles that are stuck to the rim. And by the way, English is not my first language, I'm Dutch. Probably sometimes mess up my English language. I'm sorry for it already beforehand. I'm not gonna torch these ones. These are very thin silicone molds, and if you're gonna torch them, yeah, big chance you will ruin your mold. I will use the Ranger alcohol inks. I'm gonna use the watermelon. Those I will drop in first now. Don't use too much alcohol inks, because that will also give you a chance of a failure of the bloom. The white will immediately drop through the ink on the bottom of the mold. That's something you don't want. Let the alcohol ink spread and evaporate at the side. Then in the meanwhile I can make my white mixture to create the petals of the flower. I'm using white pigment paste. I always use a toothpick. First stir it around in the jar. And you only need a little bit. If you use too much, it will also cause the white to drop down. Also make the blobs You don't want to have that, you want to have two nice petals or that's gonna bloom. Clean off the toothpick, put it aside. Clean off all the white pigment paste on my hands, or gloves. Mix that very well that you don't have any streaks anymore. In my last video I also did the roses and I want to create them now in these ones. And you can see the white is still a little bit transparent. You can still see the steering stick through it. No streaks anymore. For some shimmer I will use the pearl, also an alcohol ink. It's also from Ranger. Shake that very well. And I will use 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mix it up. I always like to add that pearl mix just to give it the extra shimmer to the petals of the flower. I don't know if you can see it, it's now nice and shiny. The petals you can pour out, well, immediately out of the cup. That's not my technique. I'm not very great at it. I always use a piping bag. You can also use the steering stick itself. Then you can pull it through. But yeah, also not my preferred technique. I will pour it all in the piping bag. I will close up the piping bag. Sorry for the plastic sound. It can be very annoying. I know. Always twist it up and try to close it. Aside for now. What I always do, because the alcohol inks, you can see yeah, the lines that it leaves behind of all the drips that I did. I like to slightly pull that all through that you don't see the hard lines of the inks. Well, the separate drops that you did. And I only touch the surface of the epoxy. All done. Some space. Well, now I have my piping bag. Get my scissors. get stuck of all the epoxy. And now we'll cut off a tip. I will try to show you. There's the epoxy aside. Notice if you can see how much I'm cutting off. And I have now an opening. Oh, it's around that way. I always test my stream. It's not too runny. It's a little bit runny, but and it means that I don't push on the bag while I'm drawing my circles in. I just let it run out of the bag. And the traditional spiral. That's one. Sorry that I'm quiet, but I'm trying to concentrate. Two. And the last one. Okay. Again with my silicone tool, or what I just did, I will pull that big blob out, also the beginning part. Oh, this one is already blooming. Very good. And this one. I want to do the same what I did with my previous video with a rose that I created. I will just go spiraling around on the outside and only touching the surface of the resin. I'm not touching the mold. I'm kind of breaking the lines that I made. And now I will let this layer cure. If this layer is cured, I can put on the back layer. I will do black, just the same as the rim that I poured. This will take a while before it's cured, a couple of hours. I have a heating mat underneath it, but I'm not using it. Never use a heating mat if you're gonna do flowers, because that also will cause that a flower will not do what it needs to do. The white will drop immediately down to the mold, and that's what you don't want, because then you have all the blobs on your surface. So yeah, now let it cure. I will see you guys back when this is cured and I can pour the back layer. I'm back. It's not fully cured yet. cured enough. It's still sticky. I mixed up black resin and I'm giving them a back coat. Clean off my stick. Just a small layer. Probably have too much resin again. Yep, too much resin, no problem. We'll put it in another project. Grab my tool, quickly go carefully around the sides. So I don't have any bubbles sticking to the sides. And then I will give it a spray with alcohol. And I can let this layer cure again. On this moment I have the heating mat on. I have it on 3, so it's not on the high point, it's just slightly warm, not too warm. So I will see you guys back when I can demold them. We're back again. They're fully cured, so I can start to demold them. And let's see how they come out. I first pull them all out of the molds before we're gonna take a look. It's always a surprise with them. If it worked, if the white didn't drop down, we shall see. Start with a big one. Here it comes. Oh wow. This one is okay. Next one. Oh yeah. And the last one. Perfect. What I now will do is fill it up the inside a little bit, a small layer of clear to make it more shiny, because this, well, cheap mold, don't know if you can see it, it has some scratches on it. So I will fill it up and then it has a nice shiny layer on top. I will show you guys how I will do that. Be back. Well, I mixed up a small bit of resin, but first I will clean the surface of the parts that I will pour on, just in case. Just use a little bit of alcohol. little bit of the pearl mix, 2 drops to the resin. Mix that in. We'll drop in just a little bit to cover the surface. Spread around. Now I'll get my torch and give it a light torch. Guys, you can see some bubbles stuck over there. Now I can let this layer cure, and if it's done I will show you the end result. See you all later. They are all done. Nice and shiny.